Hello everyone, this is Lars, your casual Mechwarrior. We are live for the First Circuit podcast number 36.
Yay.
I've been absent for quite some time, taking care of family and other things, but thankfully family things are going a lot better, and I'm back home now for the foreseeable future. So tonight we have Baida,
Lark.
Ian,
Hello.
and a Old Bob 10025.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, so we have a lot of things decked up for tonight to discuss. Mostly going to be just discussing the Fafnir and Solaris heroes. But before that, for the first about 10 minutes, we're going to go over a few of the other things. So, who wants to go ahead and take the lead?
And we're going to have a whole bunch of discussion on Solaris.
Yeah.
Yes, that's me. Well, yeah, Solaris heroes and Solaris. So, but I think first up,
no, I think we shouldn't discuss Solaris at all. I think that topic's boring.
Oh,
and,
yeah. I mean,
oh yeah, because Solaris was axed, right?
It was
yeah.
axed.
Let's talk about
We
something
exhausted
different.
all of that before the podcast.
It doesn't
We
exist
thought
like the
you wouldn't
Roughneck.
be interested.
Of course. No, but we did get a free mech recently and a hotfix and such. So Old Bob, I think is your favorite mech was given up for free, right?
Oh, yes, it's the Uzil P, which I definitely enjoy. It's one of the cooler mechs out there, at least I think. I mean, I played the Uzil for a long time, and what? Oh god, I can't even think right now. I played it in Mechwarrior 4 in tournament play, and I loved it. It was a great mech, and as you know me, I have all the different mechs that are out there for the Uzil, and just a great design. A lot of people don't like it. I mean, I have a great time at it, and like especially actually as a jump sniper. That's the thing I love about that mech. So I mean, what do you guys like about it, or dislike about it? Because I know a lot of people don't like that mech.
Let's just cover the quick basic details for everyone. All you need to do is log into the game between, when the event started, which was a day or so ago, to the end of this month, and it will be injected into your account every hour, so to speak. So you have to actually wait an hour until it's the next hour before you can it will be injected into your account. So it won't appear immediately, but as long as you log in, you will get an Uzil champion. I mean, the Uzil is a thoroughly okay mech, and this one is got some kind of rather lethargic hard points. So it's a little tricksy to build for, but it's a free mech. It's a free mech bay, maybe some C bills. You can sell the XL engine. Oh, sorry, light engine, I think it starts with. And it starts with double heat sinks and endo, if I'm not mistaken. Or at least it's got some of those upgrades, so it's not too expensive to equip.
And plus, it comes with a light engine as well.
Yeah, it has a light engine. It has a ferro armor, double heat sinks, and endo steel already standard.
Yep, so basically log in before April ends, and you're gonna get a free mech and a free mech bay.
Yep, and then of course, if you don't like it, sell it.
Yeah, and it's all just playing into. Obviously, part of the motivation is to get people logging in at least with the new Solaris patch, so that they try it out. They get reinvigorated into the game. This is the time Mechwarrior Online is trying to get lots of people in. Other people there have also said that they may have come up with this after having to do the two hot fixes.
Oh, that might be it too. Yeah.
Just as a way to
how about that?
Sweeten the waters a little bit. But the two hot fixes, at least the big ones I noticed were obviously the first one was the leaderboards initially for Solaris. If you looked at anyone's profiles, they said all of their matches were in Division 1. And all their experiences going into Division 1, regardless of what division they were actually playing, which was, of course, a little bogus. And in some ways, it meant you always, you're putting all your accolades into one bucket. But honestly, obviously, that's not the way it's supposed to be working. The other one, though, which was a real nuisance, was the game crashing. When you're interacting with the K9. And the funny thing with that, I'm not sure exact reasons, but the K9's lights on top are classified as a bolt-on, and it's one of the.
That's amazing. By the way.
Really?
If you go to the K9, you'll see it has equipped the police lights as a head bolt-on, and you can even unequip it and stuff. So when you selected the K9 something went really off with the bolt-on script and could crash the game, or when you switch away from the K9. So a lot of people were having nuisances of that, and some people were locked out of the division with the K9 in it because they had selected the K9 and now they can't change it.
That's upsetting.
And
Yeah.
since we're on the topic of hotfixes, there were also quite a few other major bugs, like something related to the 21.9 resolution, for example, where I think the UI just was so messed up that you couldn't do anything in the game anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I know one guy in our Discord had that issue, and he was basically locked out of the game for a couple days.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, Larch, didn't you have
So-
a bug too?
Oh, well, my bug, I mean, it's not really a bug. I mean, because it's only a bug to me that I think so far, because we're streamers. But the bug is on that layout jungle map in Solaris, in that whenever I stream, my frame rate on the stream, not in game, goes down to like 20 frames a second or lower sometimes. But
Lower.
not really a big
Wow.
one.
All right. I think we should crack on just to cover the other topics. But
Absolutely.
as we said last week, at least briefly, was we were expecting at least this is a huge patch, so there were going to be a lot of problems. At least knowing PGI is not going to be extremely polished out the door. So it's good that they've done the hot fixes to these major problems, and it's nice to have the deal sweetened for one way or one reason or another. Moving along though, just quickly mentioning. They've made so all the loyalty variants and such like that are now available for C-bills. So notable additions are if you have a linebacker, there's side torsos now available which have jump jets in them. 3 tons of jump jets in each side torso, making that thing able to fly.
Mhm.
The
didn't
Kit
know
Fox has a left arm ECM, as well as 2 side torso missile hardpoints, which are nice and highly mounted. So that can really add to the build diversity of your kit boxes. And then there's a whole bunch of Innisphere mechs, so like a Victor with a whole bunch of ballistics, an Irby with missiles, that's kind of cool, Griffin with machine gun arm, and missiles and energy, of course. Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah, that's about
Yeah.
it.
It's all good.
Right. Last thing to cover would just be the they're doing what's it, mech challenges. That's a new event for all the mechs that came out. So if you're aware that you've got the Fafnirs and the Solaris heroes, you have to get 1,000 damage with them in only quick play.
Which is pretty easy to do.
Yeah, it's easy enough to do, but you should really be like.
Solaris.
Yeah, there's the queue times for quick play are a little slow, and you're pulling a lot of people back to quick play all of a sudden. And it's also you've got I don't know like 6 Solaris heroes and possibly up to 7, 8 Fafnir mechs to get
Potentially
thousands of
up to
damage on.
15 max.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough to get. Like, I kind of wish they would have allowed you to do both faction. Sorry, well, actually, yeah, how about like every game mode, faction play, quick play, and Solaris.
Yeah, that would be
Not
nice,
just do
actually.
all.
Yeah, I very much agree that making people have to only do quick play with these mechs really feels limiting, particularly if like you're someone who supports the game, you buy all these new mechs, you're really interested in Solaris, and then the event is saying you could get an extra 5 million seat bills if you play quick play.
But I mean, come on, that's
So
upsetting.
I mean-
for the Solaris heroes, it's all just 1 million C bills for each variant, do 1,000 damage. Fairly mundane, but whatever.
Hey, it's
And I think-
C-bills is something free, so like I'm gonna definitely like it.
Yeah,
And that's what I've been doing the last couple nights, is just doing that. Get some extra C-bills. I'm broke. I'm so broke.
I got you, man.
Yeah, it helps you afford enough C bills to actually kit out your mechs for
Yeah.
the Solaris game modes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And then going into the Fafnir challenge, it's basically the exact same we've come to know for every new mech. 1,000 damage for the base mechs, 2,000 for the hero and special one. You get overall up to 5 million C-builds, a Warhorn, and a pattern. So
and that Warhorn is one of my favorites.
Really, I don't like it.
if
Wow,
only it
I
wasn't
love it.
delayed by 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is that, but I really enjoy deep like subwoofer sounds, and that makes my
Hmm.
You know. Yeah.
I'm not personally
you
a fan
happy?
of the noises. I mean, I think the Warhorn delay thing happens with it happens for a whole bunch of Warhorns for me.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
the new Solaris Warhorns as well. Initially, when I click that button, it doesn't play the sound. I have to click it a couple of times, and then it kind of remembers and goes, "Oh yeah, it's supposed to play sound. Here you go. There's 5 at once."
Okay. And then beside those mech challenges, we obviously still have the double XP weekend going on
Hmm.
for
Yep.
this weekend. Yep.
That's
So
gonna help out.
Any mode, thankfully.
yeah, that's
any
gonna
mode.
help really because one of my major concerns with Solaris was the tiny amount of experience I got for my mechs. So this is especially gonna help us, those people trying to skill up their new mechs in Solaris.
So
Yeah.
many new mechs, and I have to skill them all up.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try to get
Mhm.
into that, but man, sadly
And-
for the yeah.
Well,
Sorry,
plus
go ahead.
also too, they have the champion
I don't have
sale,
time.
and then they have the pattern, the purple thing sale. So like, you actually buy
Mhm.
decals and all that as well. Down or
Yeah.
purple might be.
Yep, I had to tell my girlfriend about that because she really likes purple, even though she's not into the game.
Exactly.
Your mech can be purple now.
So that's kind of nice. That's I might pick up 1 or 2 champions, I'm sure, but I mean that's a little expensive though. Might just wait to the 50% sale or something.
I mean,
Champions.
champions are really worth it.
Yeah,
Not really, no.
true. I don't know, why did they put that in there for the XP, right? Oh shit, my
Yep.
cat just jumped.
Yeah, you get boosted XP. Does mean you can get as many skill points as you want much more
Yeah.
quickly, but of course it's a huge nuisance because you spend C-bills more quickly that way, and you just said you were broke.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Which is gonna cost me a lot of money to do.
Don't worry, all you have to do is buy a whole bunch of MC, buy champion mechs, and then buy C-bills with MC.
Yeah, I think I'll
Just
pass
help
on that
skill
one.
them up.
I think I'll pass on
Oh,
that one. Thank
right.
you very much.
On the scale of bad ideas, we should move on.
We should
Okay.
move on. Yes. Moving on.
That's a bad idea. Okay.
Okay.
One thing we nearly missed because it's actually not on our list. It just came up. Mechon date and location got confirmed.
Mhm.
So the Mechon 2018 is going to be a 2-day event this year, December 1st and 2nd, in the Vancouver Convention Center.
That's one thing that actually prevented me from going to the last 2 is it's 1 day. So I'll travel 1 day, spend 1 day, then travel back 1 day. It's just like when I go to conventions, it's like 4 or 5 days, just having fun, enjoying ourselves. 2 days, it's like, okay, I'm going now. To tell you the truth.
Yeah, I might actually want to go to that now if I can get like a plane flight.
Hey, we'll hook up, man.
Yeah, man.
Definitely a lot of people are like I got offers to hook up with a bunch of people there, and it'd be pretty fun. It'd be awesome, actually. I really enjoy that.
So
I'll
Lars,
be going.
I've seen a lot of people stream from their phones. I fully expect you to do a Twitch stream from there.
Ooh,
I could do one of those.
Of course.
Could just
we'll
do
definitely
a live stream shitpost kind of video.
They're not phoning it in though.
Anyway, but moving on though, I think so. MechCon, look forward to it. Hopefully,
Yes.
That covers most of the little other bits and pieces. There were some things in patch notes. I like having mask buffed a bit. I like mask. The temperatures have been changed on all the map things, and I did do some little bit of testing, and indeed they are all just slightly different from one another. So the temperatures that they gave are actually quite accurate. So that's kind of interesting. The other thing, at least we haven't mentioned on our preparation notes, or at least I have only mentioned it once, was the new loot box system.
I love
yeah.
it. I love it.
Yeah, same.
I'm highly impressed with that thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, I think it's a big step up from before. At least I just got boxes sometimes, and I would sell it for C-bills, whereas this system encourages players to play more of quick play. And Solaris, at least as far as I'm aware, like I'm not sure about faction play. Do you earn XP for that?
What you do is you actually like every rank you again your tier group basically you get a box from what I understand. And that's how you that's how you get the box.
Okay,
right?
so there's some systems. So in Solaris, once you level up your accolades, so you start sort of at level 0 or 1, and you go up to 1, then you go up to 2. Every time you reach that new threshold, you earn a new box. In quick play, as is quite obnoxiously seen at the top, there's this bar that slowly fills up after each match, and in fact, there's an annoying pop-up they've made at the end of every match.
Yeah.
God, that's like the dumbest thing. It's just like, have a quick pop up like saying plus 15. Just to kind of like just
No
to
pop-ups.
no,
No
actually,
pop-up.
no. Just a quick plus 15 on the screen, not have you actually have to click anything. Just pops up plus 15, the number itself, not a big box, not a big anything else, just plus 15 or plus 45. That'll be fine.
I just do the same system as like with Solaris. Every time you finish a match, you get accolades. Kind of its own XP bar, and at the big bar at the bottom, your new XP is basically shown as a different color, and it fills up.
Yeah.
So it shows your progress once you've loaded back in. Just do that with
Okay.
the
Yeah.
quick play.
Yeah, that'd be actually good. That'd be fine. Actually, I like that.
Mhm.
I mean,
So,
maybe even more importantly, give me a option to disable that bar.
mhm.
Yeah.
If any of I think Bida, you were there when I first looked into Solaris,
Yep.
and the first thing I was looking for is an option to disable that thing because it's ugly.
It is
I was
Really?
very disappointed to not find one.
Yeah, it is quite large and obnoxious. I think
Mhm.
they made it so wide because you do only gain little bits towards your
Mhm.
progress sometimes. So they want to make sure you're showing your progress. Whereas in Solaris, that bar, every time you do a match, it does actually fill up a nice fraction of the bar each
Oh,
time.
you see it happen, yeah.
But yeah, I think that really needs some work. I think their UI people have been working really hard on Solaris stuff and not that XP bar for quick
Mhm.
play. And that really
True.
needs improvement, including the pop-up. Do you guys have any clue as to whether faction play contributes in any way to getting these loot boxes?
I haven't checked.
I haven't looked.
I mean, last time I played faction play really was like a long time ago.
Yeah.
We had so many things to check out.
Yeah,
It was-
It's been a very busy time.
Exactly. So I don't know. Like basically, like they might put it in. I'm assuming they would though. Just be a simple thing that they should actually like include, because otherwise, why exclude faction warfare from
Yeah.
from the bar and
if it contributes to the same bar as quick play or has its own bar when you go in there, that should be fine.
Yeah. It's I hopefully they put that in there. That'll be the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
I'd just be kind of upset about that. But
All in all, at least my impressions are indeed it's a step up from the previous system where you got boxes and they just sit in your inventory. You can turn them into C bills or spend MC. Like it didn't feel like it really added much to the game. This way, it encourages you to play more. However, the rewards you get in it are so random and often so token. It isn't much of an incentive, honestly.
Well, I don't know. Basically, like with that though, my first box was a decal, which is like 500, and then 3 up in systems. The 3 up in systems were, I don't know, like 100,000 each. So I mean, I was happy with it. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to go play. I didn't have to get the lucky box, like within 12 people for a win. So everyone gets it. Everyone gets all the stuff, and I kind of like that. That's one of the best things about it. Everyone's included. Type that thing.
Yeah, it's a great incentive, and it actually gives some structure to play because if you were just playing quick play, all you're doing is grinding C bills, maybe XP to level up your mech. But other than that, there was just sort of keep playing quick play till the end of time. Whereas now you have a bar that slowly fills up that you can sort of at least build towards. It's just my impression, at least my evaluation of the effort required to get these things is it's not that particularly worth it pursuing it. It's just an extra little cherry on top.
Now, have you figured out what the?
Cherry.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's an extra little cherry, and I also say the rewards are sometimes really, really good. Like we had a post in Discord earlier with someone getting 400 MC as a common reward.
Yeah.
So you can get some
that's
really good
nice,
stuff out of it.
Exactly.
I like it. It's just some bit extra.
Have you
I
figured out
like
the
it
formula?
giving you several items, just like the Overwatch boxes that people have mentioned. Because before the previous boxes, you actually have to put an investment in to get one piece of tat out.
Yeah.
Whereas now there's a lot bigger chance of getting something half good, and you got 3 pieces of tat which you can sell.
Yeah.
And you don't have to put any investment in. It feels, it's a Skinner box thing. There's no negative reinforcement. It's all positive. It's a huge step up.
They did a good job on that. really good job on this. Have you guys figured out the formula for it though?
Oh,
Or
what
it's like
for like the
plus
even
15?
percentage of things? I
Yeah.
haven't even looked at. I don't think. I mean, if there is, I don't really care to look into it. I'm just happy it's there.
Also, one thing I noticed, which was a big improvement they did in a hotfix, I'm not sure they mentioned it in the notes, was initially it said along the lines of, oh, hey, you've got the balls, tusks, bolt on.
Mhm.
And a lot of people went, oh, wow, I got a bolt on. That's nice. I want to see it on my mech. And they, select a mech and they can't find it.
I know.
And I mean, this goes a whole into SOLARIS stuff, but
Oh, God.
basically, these bolt-ons are for particular mechs, and you didn't know which mech it was for. So you'd have to go through all the mechs that could take the balls, horns add-on and find it eventually.
Yeah.
Actually, Biter, you might be able to answer this for me then, because is there a way to find your current list of bolt-ons that you have in game?
I don't know how to do that. I think it's not too difficult at the moment because the only mechs that have bolt-ons are the variants that came with the, for the SOLARIS heroes. So all the Atlases, all the Banshees, Rifleman, Mad Dog, Firestarter, Griffin, and Irby. Those are the only mechs that can take bolt-ons. So you only need to check those for
Yeah.
if you.
Okay.
But
you've got
still,
bolt-ons.
there's no like inventory telling you you've got that many bolt-ons. You actually have to go through the mechs.
Yeah, which is annoying because I've gotten 2 bolt-ons, but I don't know what mechs they go to.
Okay,
And-
so
They should have had a
Yeah.
wiki or wiki page or something like that saying these are the mechs now I can use.
after the second patch, this is what I'm saying. They've actually said I recently got a box and it said Boar's Head bolt-ons for the Mad Dog. Like it mentioned Mad Dog.
Oh,
So
Okay, well
went
that's
to the Mad Dog
nice.
and go, oh hey, so yeah, it actually tells you which mech. So now yes, you don't have to go through every single mech that has a bolt-on to find which one.
Yeah,
well, that's good.
because pre-patch it was like I got them, and now I'm like I still don't know which ones are which yet.
I got
I'll have
them!
to go back. It's so
I
annoying.
lost them.
I have to go
Yeah,
through
exactly.
197 mechs to go figure out what it goes onto. This sucks.
It's basically like being given a box from Ross. It's packaged and wrapped. You open it and then you just immediately drop it, and then your gift goes under the couch. It's like, where did it go? I don't know. I guess I'll find it next week.
And since we're on the bolt-on topics, have you guys actually seen bolt-ons in game yet?
Yes, I have. I have.
Not yet.
Majestic actually had some. He had an atlas with the crown and then two shoulder pads basically.
Okay. Did
Majestic
you
had it.
find them as annoying as you thought you would find them?
Well, okay, give it time. Okay, give it time.
Give it time.
Okay, give it time. Okay, here's a rant from Obama. So the bolt-ons are cool. I like bolt-ons. I like the idea of it. Okay, really cool idea in Solaris. Now on the battlefield, you don't see mechs with a freaking unicorn horn on their head or little dildos coming out and everything. You basically on the battlefield. This is the battlefield, not Barbie dress up. Barbie dress up mech time. This is Mechwarrior. This is BattleTech, not that type of stuff. And so that's
Bob,
gonna be. Oh, go on.
I want to see my head strap on dildo.
No,
back.
no.
It's functional.
No, you can't have that now. Every time you have that, I'm gonna knock it off with a flamer or like
I
a machine
want
gun.
my mech cod piece.
See,
But damn it, I want to carry a bull pit in my backpack.
see, the problem is this. The problem is this. It stops immersion effect into BattleTech, into the game itself. So now you're gonna see a bunch of people running around with all that kind of stuff. You're like, okay, what game am I playing? Like when a new person comes to the game, it's like, I don't remember BattleTech being like this. What's next? We're gonna have pets. We're gonna for 100 MC, you get a little Irby to follow you around, like on the battlefield. Doesn't do anything. Everyone's argument, it doesn't do anything, doesn't affect anything. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But the problem is though, it just creates that non-immersion effect of BattleTech. That's why like a lot of people, I'm going to BattleTech. I'm gonna be playing that game pretty soon.
Gloat on, Bob. Gloat on.
I think we've lost the Bob. So yeah, I'm totally with Bob. I
Sure.
also am afraid that it's gonna reduce the amount of immersion we've got in the game.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't think it's too bad.
Oh no, it's not bad at all.
So we're definitely gonna. Well, we're probably gonna talk again about that in a couple of weeks. And
Oh yeah.
For a
see
little,
how it goes
because
then.
yeah, because I know I'm on the boat of I personally enjoy it. I enjoy customization. I mean, I enjoy it in Solaris. I enjoy it in Quick Play.
Oh no.
So I'm all for one for making silly looking hat mechs. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my personal taste is that the bolt-ons are kind of usually universally quite tacky, and I don't really care much for equipping them. As for the visual effect they have on the mechs and how they look, it's kind of a token mediocre difference, honestly. Like paint schemes and decals are permanent changes to the look of your mech that don't just get brushed off the instant you take damage.
Yeah.
So if you're investing MC, get a one-time spray on your mech, make it pretty, and then put a whole bunch of, you got even more decals to play with, and the decals won't get scratched off, so you could always have silly eyes on your mech. That's way more impressive to me than that, the mask thing that you could put on it, or a mohawk, because it's just like, it doesn't really, I'm not sure how much people are going to invest in bolt-ons, particularly since there's only so many mechs that actually have it at this point in time.
Okay,
but particularly because it's
plus it
expensive.
costs an arm and leg too.
Okay, so I will say this. Okay, so bolt-ons can be boring, but I'm in the, it's like I'm in that weird category where if you can put a bolt-on with a combination of decals to make it fun, I'm all for it, because I think people will just slap them on and be like, they're on, they're done. Sure, that's boring. I love it when people get creative with their combination of decals and bolt-ons. Then it can be fun. If it's just bolt-ons and nothing else, eh.
Yeah. And to maybe give the counter opinion there, because we are definitely split on that topic, my favorite moments in Mechwarrior Online is when I'm walking pre-match and I see my teammates in the Timberwolf, and I just feel super nostalgic about the Timberwolf. That's definitely going to get reduced by bolt-ons, so those are basically the two sides of the whole thing.
I mean, we're going to have to find out later on, though.
Yeah, we're going to see that in a couple of weeks.
Well, personally, at least, like, if they ever do bolt-ons for the Timberwolf, mine is currently painted like black and red and white, and it's got Santa Girl on him, and they call him Santa Timmy. And I want a Santa hat or an elf hat or something to put on my Timberwolf. For all the options.
Oh God!
You know, for the holidays, it's gonna happen, because guaranteed for holidays, we're gonna have hats. We're gonna have leprechaun bullshit hats and Santa hats. I want Biter.
Bob, I'm taking my machine guns. I'm gonna help you with this.
Ooh, Biter, we could have giant Santa bags to carry around. How about that?
Yes.
Maybe we
got
should
backpacks
take this
already.
opportunity to move on to the next topic.
Reindeer bolt-ons, pumpkin bolt-ons, yes.
So if they ever do Christmas
Fedora
stuff, yeah, I could totally add to that theme. But
Thanksgiving.
As it stands, at least, it's like, I can, make him look like Santa who went through a post-apocalypse.
See, that's what I love. Bullshit like that.
Yes. Oh God!
Yes, I'm making Bobby and just cry right now. Did you guys miss me yet?
Oh God!
I never missed your Nash anyway. we kind of glanced over the Fafnir. Maybe we should.
We glanced over the Fafnir.
We're almost halfway in, at least 20 minutes, 28 minutes in. So let's go.
Yeah,
let's be real. The Fafnir is really hard to glance over, given its size.
Right.
Oh God.
So. Should I just start with the Fafnir?
Go for it. I barely used it.
I think it's just me and Ian who've mostly played it, right?
Yeah. For me, the Fafnir is a super positive addition. The Fafnir has been by far my favorite mech in Mechwarrior from Mercenaries. So I absolutely love the look and feel of this thing in MWO. I adore it. The side torsos are surprisingly fine, because the center torso is so big you die anyway before the side torsos are picked off. That's basically it. Overall, like, the Fafnir is performing about as good as I would have expected it to perform with those quirks, and it feels a lot better than I thought it would.
So I would say, for our viewers' sake, what is your favorite Fafnir variant?
I'm gonna go with the stock 5 with just the standard dual heavy gauss, because that's what I've been playing in Mechwarrior 4.
Stock 5.
Actually, I think the stock 5 is one of the best ones.
Yeah, it's fairly popular. 10% cooldown on the dual heavy goose. And dual heavy goose and 3 medium pulse is a pretty scary pinpoint alpha. That,
And
you can
also,
do
if you're targeting variant, the 5 is the one you can do the stealth quad light goes in. Just
Yes.
mentioning that meme.
we did some of that.
Oh, you did?
It's super fun.
Oh,
Yes.
Not
God.
effective, but fun.
Yep.
So-
we,
so
we
wait, here's-
actually we scrolled off a lot of the enemy team each time. So we actually, had quite a good win-loss ratio when
Nice.
going quad light core stealth Fafnirs.
So you're saying stock Fafnir 5 with stealth?
No,
the 5
I'm saying
starts dual
either
heavy
stop
goose.
Fafnir 5 with the dual heavy goose, or change it out completely to be quad light goose with stealth.
Okay.
light.
When
Okay.
it starts out, it's almost got everything right. The 5, but it's got ER medium lasers and I think a medium pulse in the head. Whereas what people do is get rid of a bit of ammo or armor and go triple medium pulse because the ER mediums is a little awkward. Yeah, I mean the Fafnir's hitboxes in the end turn out to be okay. I think its arms are still, of course, not the bestest of shields. Though sometimes when you have big ballistics in them and you're based really far to the side, they are actually okay. But otherwise, it's not a mech that really wants to be too brave. I mean, when the Annihilator came out, people were very cautious, but Fafnir pilots at the moment seem even more cautious, and
Yeah, they do.
just so. The mech, though,
is so wide.
it is so wide, and it's a giant torso mostly. So if you're engaged, if with an Annihilator, you can somewhat lead a charge, twist, and get people to blow. Take a whole bunch of damage into your arms, and easily spread it to the side torsos. Whereas a Fafnir has that big, giant, protruding center torso, and if the enemy know what they're doing, it can get caught out really quickly. So you have to be quite careful. It's a 100-tonner with extra durability, so it doesn't fall down quickly. But you'd still have to be careful, relatively speaking.
Yeah, basically to say it can definitely do the assault thing of just walking forward at max speed and facing down the enemy, but it's not going to be able to face down an Annihilator with a similar build.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you have 4 of these things walking down the field. I mean, basically, I can play one
At that
game,
point,
4 of
you've
them.
won the game.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough mech. It's a very tough mech, just like you guys have been talking about. But it has two things that is a crutch to me: assault and Gauss rifles. So there's 2 things that kind of made it a crutch for me. But it was fun to play, and actually, I tried it. I tried it assault mech, and this is one of them. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun to play. But the only problem is like I had that crutch of it's an assault and Gauss rifles. I'm not really good at both of those. But otherwise, I mean, it was just I felt like a 100-tonner, walking in there, looking at the other ones. It looked really nice. It looked really good, and I mean, it was scary to go and see. It was scary to go see like other ones, but every build had Gauss rifles, so it's like, okay, 50 points in my torso. Basically, that's all that happened, and it was still good though. It was a lot of fun to play.
Dear
I'd
God,
say
where do you put the? Sorry, go ahead.
I would say it fits an interesting spot. Like I was saying, at least when we initially saw it, the Fafnir has a lot more awkward hardpoint placement, lot less, much more lethargic hardpoints on average than the Annihilator. So, at least in terms of the pure gunboat role, it's not got much going for it in that respect. And its poking profile is kind of nice, but it's not really 100 tonners of brilliant pokers.
No.
I would say though it's an interesting spot. It sits in that you're not as aggressive or as much of a focusing on being a gunboat as Annihilator. You sit a little bit further back, but it's still got that annihilatory kind of firepower with ECM. So it's a terrible surprise when you go around a corner or get sniped at by it from range. Of course, dual heavy goose is really strong, but I think with 100-tonner with those hard points, you can still do some interesting things with it. I pointed Ian towards a quad LB5, 3 large lasers. Well, he did 2 large pulse laser build. And
That was really fun.
Yeah, that thing tears people apart, and the LB5s in the arms are actually fairly decent shields because they're so big and push forward so far. On 5B, I think it is. It's the other one with ECM. That's not the hero. I went. I initially tried to do 2 LB25 medium lasers, so I have something other than heavy goose. I was having troubles with space, so then I went AC20 LB25 medium lasers, and I've had a lot of fun with that. It's just like the Heavy Goose, just hotter, but it's got the heat gen quirk. And if you're not a fan of Goose, I would suggest trying AC20s, LB20s, and do basically the same role.
Yeah, because I am definitely more of a fan of LBs.
Yeah,
Not
same
much
here.
the Goose. But actually, real quick question for that quad light Goose though. How much ammo are you squeezing into that?
Quite a bit. You run it on a standard 200.
Standard 200? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to
It's
actually build it
personal
right now.
preference how ridiculously slow you go.
I was gonna say, like, if I put a standard
Stock
200, I'm
Kirby speed.
going 32 kph.
Yep, you're going stock Kirby speed.
I'm not used to going that slow.
Well, like just like you've been talking about, like changing out the Gauss rifles to LBs, I've been actually enjoying the AC20s. It's a bit hot, but once you actually go through the tree and kind of reduce that down, it works pretty well.
Yeah.
And good. And a lot more fun than just with my Gauss rifles.
I say overall, told the Fafnir is a nice addition to the game. I don't think it's grossly OP, but it has a distinct role that makes it, interesting in and of itself. It's like I want to be a little mini annihilator with ECM, and that is actually a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
All right.
It's surprisingly unique.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Very true.
All right, next on the docket is the Solaris Heroes. I think all of us got the pack.
Yeah,
we did.
And who's actually had some time playing them?
Not me.
I had an amazing experience playing all of them.
Amazing.
You played them
Amazing.
stock, right?
So when I first got into Solaris on Tuesday, it was, I think, I put a challenge on myself. I wanted to take each of these Solaris Hero mechs into Solaris game mode stock. I did it. I won a single game. I lost 6 games. I can vouch that the stock builds on those mechs are kind of garbage.
And the one match he won was it was a mirror matchup.
Oh really?
that they're surprising that someone else would also go, I'm gonna go check a stock, whatever.
I was teasing him in the live stream, like, oh, your ELO just going down and down and down, and that's putting you with all the other stock mech players, which, oddly enough, could actually be where Ian would be very happy. He could stick them.
Very true.
That's
Very true.
funny.
I had
So-
go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to basically complete my quick opinion on those. Once they are built up, they are, as expected, nothing super unique, but they definitely offer something each, and they're fun to play. So,
Okay,
worthwhile investment for me.
that's fair.
Definitely. So like I had fun playing the mediums and the heavies more than anything else, especially the Mad Dog. That was actually I don't play the type of mech that much. Fun to play, and then the Rifleman was I pretty much built a Legend Killer, but it was still fun to play and got the plus 30% without having Legend Killer itself. So good,
Sweet.
good times.
I really enjoy how the Mad Dog now has the chin lasers.
Yes.
So good looking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm getting all the Mechwarrior 4 vibes this patch.
Yes.
It was fun though. Good times.
Yeah, I think Ian though does very much hit it on the mark that they're very much like their contemporaries for the most part. So if you're used to the average Griffin, the new Griffin is quite an average Griffin in and of itself for the most part. The Irby is quite an average Irby, though of course it can go faster and jump higher. But I've struggled trying to build for that, just in the sense like the Irby has always had the issue of putting enough tonnage into ballistics and energy, since that's where its hard points are split between. And focusing on just one means sometimes you're very easily disarmed, which I'm never necessarily a fan of. But going up to all the biggest engine, the biggest jump jets, it's hard to fit in any ballistic, really.
Well, like I did
some lasers.
Sorry, go on.
Though, I mean, you can do max engine, max jump jet, heavy PPC, which is all I wanted.
That's all you need, man.
For the Irby, I did 4 ER mediums and 2 light machine guns. It worked out pretty well. I was having a blast with that one. Does overheal. I don't have the filtry on it, but it worked out fine though. Worked good, and plus I book at 113, so it was Nice to have that.
So
That's good.
Quick Lurby.
Yeah,
Use those regular mediums again. They're
Ah,
cooler.
I know, but I want the
You have
range.
10% range again.
I'm a sniper.
You got 10% just like the Griffin.
But you did give me a good build on the Griffin though, which is I definitely enjoyed that one. That build was a lot of fun to go play and halfway decent as far as, and I named the mech Biter. So this is your mech, by the way, now. So that's your mech. 2 medium lasers and not sure 4 medium lasers
4
and 2
medium.
rocket 20s. Yeah, and it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, because on stream, Bob was like, okay, I've got to get the 1k damage in the Griffin, but I don't want to buy double heat sinks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh gosh.
I was being cheap.
And the first thing he does is he tries to drag a heavy PPC into the arm and be like, no, just 4
No.
mediums. Singles can't handle a heavy PPC.
I like it hot, man. I like it hot.
Well, you know what? I've just built a quad light PPC Irby.
There you go. But it was a lot of fun.
looks
Though.
ridiculous.
It was a good mech to use, but I named the Biter, so that's now your mech, by the way. Cheers.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh,
Give me the mech.
Yeah, so they're all, all right. The Kraken, of course, has some really cracking quirks to it. So it's one of the big standouts. The Irby, as long as you have an Irby build you like, you probably can sort of do it on that one. And Irbies are quite solid. I'm not. I still feel the Firestarter is. It hasn't started really.
I still
Yeah.
haven't used it though, so like I'll give you my
Flamer
opinion.
range machine gun quirks. Yeah.
To get my 1,000 damage, I sort of went, okay, I'm gonna put large lasers in the, large laser nipples and use the high pounce to stay at range, so I don't get shot.
I actually
Be a
changed mine to.
dick.
Sorry, go on.
That was it.
I'll just be a dick. I actually changed mine to 3 mediums and 1 flamer and 4 light machine guns. I haven't used it yet, but I'm gonna go test it out in the field tonight though.
All right.
Just see how it looks. See how it runs, and I mean it looks okay. It looks fine. I want to use it. I like the Firestarter, but you guys don't like it.
I mean, I haven't had a lot of experience in it, so I'm very impartial to it.
For me, it's mostly my past experience as a spider pilot. The spider was outclassed by the Firestarter for a long time, so that's just my old grudge.
I would say just the other thing, at least before we go into Solaris, was because everyone's trying to get their 1k damage, a whole bunch of people chucking worms into their atlases and the mad dogs, etc.
In Solaris?
No, quick play.
Oh,
Quick
sorry.
play.
Okay,
Yeah,
misunderstood.
The event is making all the Fafnirs and Solaris Hero mechs go to quick play, and when people are asked to do a lot of damage, they want to do it quick and easy, and so Lerms are the way to go. Lerms just recently also got a velocity buff, so they're even more encouraged to do it. And the Fafnir ECMs are of course not skilled up yet, if there are, the Fafnirs are actually sharing their ECM. So it's been a little bit of a Lerm apocalypse, or there's been a whole bunch of Lerm flying around in quick play.
Exactly. Be a good chance to get your match score up, so you get some boxes.
Yeah,
a lot quicker if you use like AMS.
Yeah, true.
But like overall, though.
Sorry,
go on.
Go ahead.
No,
I was just going to say, for when I'm doing the Solaris Heroes, a lot of the times I'm like, oh yeah, the Firestarter, I could try and be a, close range brawler and see if it actually could manage with the improved agility. And I'm like, well, the problem is there's a whole bunch of camping Fafnirs and Lerm boats lurking everywhere. The game is full of giants, like assaults where, I don't know, we had some really top heavy games, like me and Ian when we played Group Q. We had, what was it, 700 tonners?
700 tonners.
Oh my god!
My goodness!
And the other mechs weren't that too light either, except for maybe one piranha. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of Fafnirs out there, and I have no extra structure in my Firestarter, no skills, survival tree in it yet. I'm like, yeah, this is going good.
This is fine.
This is fine.
I just need to jump on the
as long as I'm not getting hit.
All I have to do is pounce the lance of Fafnirs, not get hit by any of the quad light heavy gorses they have on them. That'd be good.
Exactly. Overall, though, they are pretty cool. I think the $30, and then also you got the accolade bonus and got a whole bunch of other cool stuff with it. And, got the free premium time. It was well worth it, though.
What do you think
the
of
$3?
war horns.
I didn't like them.
Meh. Very
Eh,
meh.
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of very on them. I mean, granted, if you like sports and sports is your thing, you're gonna love them. But I'm not a huge sports fan, so I mean, they're okay. They're all right.
There's one thing I liked about them was that they played different sounds,
Yeah.
and I assume that's whenever you get a kill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a lot of the others. But I didn't like the sounds themselves. So PGI, please make more war horns that have multiple sounds and increase the variety, but make them good sounds, so I actually
Yeah.
use it.
They played 2 different sounds each, from what I understand.
3
Exactly.
sounds.
And they chose not random.
Yeah.
So PGI basically proved that they could do it.
Mhm.
They just didn't choose decent
Exactly.
sounds, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Some
same.
I quite like, but some others I really dislike, and I don't want to roll the lottery every time I get a kill. If I could
Yeah.
somehow turn off a certain sound or two, maybe, just maybe. Yeah, overall, I'm not a fan of all the new Warhorns, certainly not of the Fafnir or the Solaris heroes.
Definitely not the Fafnir.
Oh.
I'm not a big fan of that one.
I still enjoy the Fafnir. I love my Wobwobs.
You like your Wooboob?
Oh, I love the Wobwobs.
Yeah, just I don't know, like they like just like you've been talking about, is now they proved they can do 2 to 3 sounds per thing. So now actually they might actually do custom war horn sounds. So it'd be kind of cool if actually PGI went in and said, hey, for a 25 MC, you can have whatever you want in the war horn, or 500 like MC, whatever you want for it, or 1,000 or 1,500 for their own war horn. That you could build whatever type of thing you want in there, instead of actually spending like a certain amount of money, but like let's say like a sound clip that they approve or something like that.
I was gonna say they need some approval.
Oh
on
yeah,
that.
yeah. Oh, definitely. Don't get me
They
wrong.
really bad.
It's just
I mean,
ideas that they can make money.
A simple money-making scheme, yeah, is you make an empty box that you say, hey, you can spend MC to combine war horns. So I'm like, okay,
Ooh.
I'll put the Fool's war horn with the Works like war horn, the one I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually be
And so
kind of cool. Yeah.
I could rock out when I kill. I'd make silly whack, 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 whack noises when I die.
Exactly. Or the jack-o'-lantern one with the Fool's War Horn. Yeah, like either one of those two.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whack, 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 whack.
You've killed me.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
That'd be cool.
Oh, listen, this is kind of off topic and random, but have you guys noticed that they've changed the mech select image for your mech now?
Yeah.
Yes, it's the new weird camera angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite noticeable. So yeah, the camera before was quite a bit higher, I think, like sort of looking down or something. Like no, straight on. Whereas now
Yes,
it's a
straight
bit
on.
lower down. It's like kind of waist level for all the mechs.
Well, it's probably because of Mech Bay, actually.
Yeah, because of the mech bay. So, funnily enough, for me, I could sort of see what mechs I fiddled with, because half of the images are the old variant,
Yeah.
and half are at waist level.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
That's interesting. Okay. That's kind of cool. I mean, like, one definite improvement, though, that I do think, though, is a Mech Bay. You guys got to admit, though, that is freaking awesome. I mean, you could walk around your mech, you could do different camera angles for your mech, you could do anything you want, and just look around your mech. But Larks, you did bring up a point, though. I would want to go ahead and zoom in. Would be kind of nice. Just go have that like in there. But I mean, overall, though, the Mech Bay is one of the beautifulest thing that they did for this. Now, PGI has certain aspects that it's like, oh my god, thank God they did this. And this is one of the things, just like the crown for group play. This is another thing I think they hit the nail on really well. They definitely got a good hammer on that.
The mechs look so much more prettier in the mech bay than they used to. I like it's doing some different rendering stuff to actually make it look shinier and all that stuff. So
yeah,
and it's just much more pleasant to orbit the camera around, move it up and down, rather than having that fixed position and just sort of rotating the mech on a turntable. And that's particularly nicer when trying to place decals and seeing how they look on the mech.
Placing decals now is a treat. But
oh god, yeah.
Yeah, but kind of like how it's on Old Bob, the only time I would really care to have zoom is when I'm placing decals, for the most part.
Yeah, true. I would like that too. Just to, like, I do a couple of them that I need like specific places and that kind of thing to make sure they work. And that'll be a bonus, Russ, to go ahead and do that. And did you notice if you hit the back arrow key, you can have a UI where you don't actually have UI like up there.
Yeah, the backspace.
So for us streamers, for us YouTubers, we can use that to go and do a really cool thing for our mechs, our different games. Kind of cool.
Yeah. I would say though, like for me, the first-person view, whilst it really does emphasize the size of the mechs, and I think that's a great addition because otherwise, you know, even like mechs like the Locust, in the end, you just sort of think them as like a teeny little ant. But it helps you regain an idea of the size and scale of all of this.
True.
Though I'm not sure there's much point to it because, like, the one thing I sort of do is, I go first-person view. And I'm like, oh, hey, it's in the distance, and I'm stuck on the low ground, so I can't really see much other than its legs and the lower sides of its arms. I know what I can do. I can walk closer and see how big its legs are.
Yeah,
yeah, true.
That's kind of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that is mostly, and you can select 3 camera angles, which are even further away than when you can place decals and such. And it's like, oh hey, look, it looks like an ant again.
Yeah, because it zooms all the way out.
Yeah. So I'm not a fan of those camera angles. I think they have to be like, it's hard. What they've done is just so this can cater the biggest and widest mechs. So it has a nice shot, but it of course doesn't cater for the Locust. It's all the way down there in the corner. It's not a useful camera angle.
Exactly. But you have to admit though that is a quality of life thing they did for this, and it's just something cool they did, and they like that. That's props to PGI for that.
Well, one thing, I'm not sure the veracity of this at least, but some people said that what they've done is basically when the game first came out, they're using the same system as it had then for the mech lab, because the mechs looked really pretty then, and they went to this new system. And the thing was, the old system really emphasized how pretty the mechs were, and when you were changing weapons, it actually shows how the weapons look. It like zoomed in the arms and stuff like that. But the whole thing was that it really it was a drag on loading times. And so they simplified the system, made the mechs less pretty in the mech lab, so that everything ran a lot quicker. Now they've instituted this new mech lab, everything's taking a while to load.
Mine takes forever to load now.
Yeah.
And especially when you click mech select, it gets a bit choppy. So
yeah, I've noticed that too.
Yeah,
I'm sure maybe they'll patch it in a hotfix, and they might bring down the prettiness of it.
Well, servers are going down for maintenance right now. so
what?
Yeah, they're going
in
down
5 hours hotfix.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. But yeah, so it's a question ultimately, like, I can't necessarily say this is improvement in life, at least since those increased loading times is really painful. And that can really kill just playing the actual game rather than looking at the mech. And, given the choice, at least I would prefer, quickly getting from match to match rather than having the dirty mech lab. Though it would be kind of fun to have a button you could, like a switch you could flip and say, I want pretty mech lab or I want fast load time.
That would be interesting.
No, I agree.
Yeah, that's definitely a good idea with the way this game currently works.
Yeah, I don't know the actual loading problems. I'm not, game design type or whatever. This could all be fake news, but they really do need to improve that load time. And if it is the mech lab, that is an important consideration.
Oh my god, speaking of that term, I faced a guy in Solaris. His name was fake news.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
So speaking of Solaris.
Speaking of Solaris, let's go to Solaris.
Go to Solaris mode.
Yeah.
So I think first off, do we want to just briefly give our initial experiences in Solaris, since it's quite a lot to take in?
Okay. Who wants to go first?
Let's just go on the order we're in Discord, so Biter, go ahead.
Biter first.
All right. So for me personally, I haven't played hundreds of matches yet or anything like that. In solo, I've mostly played Division 7 and Division 4, and I played 2 mechs in there predominantly. So in Division 7, where you've got a whole bunch of tanky mediums, shooty mediums, and some lights, I took the Spider, the Ansai, and my whole goal in that was to kill them with 1,000 paper cuts. And that has been a whole bunch of fun flying around in the Spider, streak sixing, small lasering, and machine gunning everything to death. In Division 4, I'm playing on my own. I went with the Skokomish, because that division has Zeus's, Highlander 2Cs, and then a whole bunch of heavies like Jagermix and other stuff that aren't, super stiff competition. So I've caught a lot of people off guard with 100 kph assault. They're like, they spot me in the distance and go, all right, he's over there. I'll just outflank this slow-moving assault. And then I press the mask key, rush their position, and come out from the bloody nowhere, shoot them point-blank range, and they panic. It's brilliant. I've had a lot of people go, "Well, how fast is that thing? How agile?" Because like I'm outspeeding, outflanking crabs and other mechs like that. They don't know what's going on. The assault is taking the initiative.
Jeez.
And it's not the norm.
Yes, indeed. So that has been a whole barrel of laughs. So for me in solo queue, people generally been for me like against the Skokomish. I'm splattering them down with SRMs. People have been good sports about it. They found the fast assault idea hilarious, and I love going fast in the assault. And in Division 7 as well, a lot of people say, "Hey, well done, man! You beat me in a spider. you did 700 damage in a 1v1. Well done against the Vindicator. Well done. You took every hit point you could."
Yeah. Yeah.
And at least I try and play sportsman like. So like with the spider, I stay at distance. They're slowly scratching me to death, and when I think I'm about to win the brawl, I just like charge in, and they go, "Oh no, the spider's attacking me! Run!" Oh wait, it's a light. I even had a good time. I sort of had a little nemesis for one day where I dropped against an LB10 Panther, and he's actually fairly fast, so he can keep up with me. And LB10 hurt leg, and I'm slowly. He's got a whole bunch of armor, so we played like I think 3 to 4 matches, and this guy had a flawless record. So the first match he creams me. I had a lot more jump jets than him, but when he got close, he absolutely stripped both of my legs down really, really quickly. The next match, we went to the Styler Coliseum, and I just jumped from platform to platform. He licked me still, but he got greedy. Like he ran back, so I was like, "All right, come at me," and I'm like, "No, I'm staying behind the thing." And so I think that's a different match. Sorry, but in that match, it's a different match with 2 PPC. Panther, snub PPC, and that guy moved up, and I streaked him, and he was like, "I got greedy." But no, the LB10 Panther. Anyway, I actually managed to, I think, win both of my matches back with. One match I had really good leg shielding, and the guy couldn't finish my remaining leg. So I'm scratching him to death with the small lasers, 1,000 paper cuts on him as well, and we had some fun banter back and forth. I'm trying to bully the mediums. Great 1v1s and 2v2s as well. I dropped some matches with Ian. I dropped some matches with TTB. And again, like we pick up with Ian, we did Division 7. I was in the Spider, he was in the Vindicator, he was the Distraction, and I was the Nuisance.
Yeah,
that was a really good, fun combo that worked quite well together. And at TTB, we went double Skokomish and bum rushed people to death. That was a great bit of fun, and we played a whole bunch of Division 1 because, of course, TTP annihilators dribbling at the mouth kind of thing. And he took long range Dakar and I took close range heavy goose, and that was quite interesting as well because most people are taking AC2 builds. They're spamming long range. So again, we have like the distraction and the brawler, and that actually, having that versatility, the choice of 2 mechs, really worked out quite nicely. So for me, I've had a lot of fun in Solaris, particularly when playing with others. I'm not much of a 1v1 guy, and when I can find a silly mech I could abuse, it's a whole bunch of shenanigans.
That's cool, man. And Ian?
Well, for me, the experience has been mostly similar to Bada. I haven't found like my absolute go-to mech yet. it's probably gonna be my good old Splatterbolt. Personally, I'm not good at 1v1s. If you know, I play with Hota system joystick, so I'm inherently worse than most people playing with mouse and keyboard in terms of aiming. Although I did have more success in Solaris overall than I expected, so that was definitely cool. For me, it's mostly gonna be Division 4 with the Catapult SRM, or Division 7 with anything in Division 7. There are a lot of fun mechs over there. The thing I was really surprised about in Solaris was the positivity, actually.
Yes.
I would have thought beforehand that Solaris would trigger a whole lot of extra salt and toxicity overall, with people going like, oh geez, you're bad, and oh gee, you're abusing something. But I've actually found that most people have been fairly good to me. I even had a game where I got stuck in my Rifleman against a Light Mag, and then that Light Mag got in my back while I was stuck, so he could kill me, and afterwards he realized that and apologized. So yeah,
Wow.
I'm definitely surprised by the positivity over there.
Oh,
I've
that's
only
good.
encountered a single game where someone said the own ass and left. Besides that, it's
Oh.
only been a positive experience. So yeah, super
Yeah.
surprising for me. I enjoy Solaris more than I thought I would. I don't enjoy it enough to make it my main game mode, but now and then a bit of Solaris is probably going to be cool.
And negative experiences, I only had one, which was someone sort of saying, oh, good build you got there at the start of the match when he saw I was in a spider. So, you know, he got an extra few thousand paper cuts and left without saying anything after. He went, yep, it's a good build at the end.
Oh god. And Lars.
Lash.
Yeah, so my experience has been kind of limited, but since I only get to play in the evenings, but I would say my main mech that I go into is mostly in Division 4, which is a Black Lantern D, because I just enjoy taking a medium mech with mask, because my playstyle has been mostly 1v1s. I have not done a lot of 2v2s. So my main way to play in this thing is that I play very aggressively, and because you're usually going up against either a medium assault or heavy. You know, you don't see many lights,
No.
but usually you're usually the faster mech in a Black Lantern, and a lot of times I can get them off guard within the first minute by just masking across the map down the middle, because one thing I have noticed, at least on my end, no one just charges the middle. They tend to skirt the outside.
Yep.
So I just kind of just like basically just charge down the middle. They don't see me, and then I try to estimate where they're at, find their back, and get that first shot backstab, and then just basically just circle them because they can't hit me in time. That or I found some very good success with a linebacker with just using 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 SRM4s in Division 3. This thing can chew up an assault or a heavy within about 2 minutes, especially if you just chain fire it. Because I had gone against, I mean, it was probably a little lopsided because it was a laser vomit Kodiak, which is a rather hot build. But I just chain fired my Serm 4s at him, and that was actually one of the few matches that I did get some salt, where basically I destroyed him, and then at the very end of the match, he just typed in "dude" and then left. So he was not very happy. But so far my overall time in Solaris has been positive. I've only had maybe 2 or 3 assault matches. But everyone in there has been very nice. They've been very positive. But I don't see this as my main go-to game mode right now. But I will admit, after playing Solaris and nothing but Solaris since Tuesday, going back into Group Q, I couldn't play. Like, I was still in the mindset of I'm 1v1, I'm going to charge the enemy. And thankfully, because we have a lot of potato pilots, going back to what we said earlier, with people just doing learn builds for skills, I was able to do a decent damage by being aggressive and tell my teammates to just charge in. So thankfully it's worked out. But my mindset is like is just so wonky until I go about like 2 or 3 matches in. Then I'm like, okay, it's right. I'm playing a team game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Bob.
I think overall though, the mileage for this, I think it could pan out. The only issue that I do see, just like we've been talking about, it's not everyone's go-to mode. It's not mine. I'll play it a couple times and do that kind of thing. I've been having fun at it. Don't get me wrong, but playing 1v1 is not what I want to do. BattleTech and everything. I want to do a team game, and I did try with Ian a 2v2 game in the Division 2, and it was interesting. It was a lot of fun. We fought we fought I mean, normally we have 2 Marauders and they have 2 assault mechs, 2 big gigantic 100-ton ones, and we just kind of just focus fire on one and then go for the next one. It was a lot of fun. I mean, overall though, the game is exciting. I mean, BGI definitely hit it out of the park with this one. They did a good job. It's halfway decent. The only problem, well, like some of the problems, is that I see the watch list. I can't watch any matches, I guess, until someone gets like 10,000 points or something like that, or tier 10 or whatever. So you have that issue of like, I can't watch people. I want to watch people play. I want to see that. And like I said in my past podcast, is that or in past video actually, is that I can't watch people, and that's my own misconception. I thought you can watch a whole bunch of different people any match you want to, because I want to watch Lars versus like Ian, and that was my misconception. You can't do that. Only top 5 guys, which is kind of weird, but I don't know. That's just like restraints. But yeah.
I would say, yeah, because, well, moving on to the spectator thing a bit, because I've been bringing this up and such, and I think your thing about this from the last stream was that when they talked about Solaris, they brought it up, they're like, oh, yeah, there's going to be spectator and all this and that. And, everyone initially assumed, of course, it's going to be you can spectate your friends' matches.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when the patch notes comes out, it turns out, oh, no, you're only spectating the top players' matches. And so, okay, the saving server space is really not what I wanted, but at least there's spectators there. But I can't actually see or find the button in game, and not many others have. No one's found it yet, at least from those who've been around.
Actually, Biter, if you go to the Solaris homepage, and if you look on the far right, see where it says Solaris Overview, has leaderboard, patron progress, below it, watch list.
Yeah.
It's currently empty.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
So it's probably going to be there.
Oh yeah.
But, so that's what Biter was talking about. Apparently, some people have started watching. I've seen posts about that.
Really?
But I have no idea how.
Oh, then yeah, I didn't know people were watching. My apologies. I didn't.
Yeah,
all I've got to go for, at least what I said on Bob's stream when I looked into it a little bit more, was in the patch notes it says you'll be able to view people's matches once they've reached a sufficiently high rank or ELO, which implies people need to play loads or the total ELO needs to go up and up and up until it actually recognizes someone as being good enough to watch, because currently you can't watch anyone.
I guess maybe maybe it's more like if that player is online, then the watch list will populate, and maybe the people who have watched it have had that off chance of, so and so who's really good is online right now, I can go watch them, and then as soon as they log off, well, now I can't watch anyone.
Maybe
that's my best guess for what we're talking about here on that.
Yeah. For the most part, though, you should really just that watch list should be the 5 most high rank, like the 5 matches currently playing with the 5 highest ranking people.
I agree.
No matter who they are. As it is, that feature that we've been thinking about for quite some time is a no-show, or at least they've tuned it in such a way that it is effectively a no-show. And just on the whole ELO thing, it's kind of funny. At the beginning, Drunken Fisher says, I can't tell if, these 2 players, it's a very even match. The stats don't say anything. And, in the pre-loading screen, it says, okay, this guy's got 12 wins and no losses, and this one's lost 15 matches in a row. I just can't figure this out, says Drunken Fisher. It could go either way. And yes,
he is drunk.
Go either way, but look at the stats, man.
Well, yeah, to finish off what I was saying, like I've been having a lot of fun in Division 2 with the Marauder. Division 5 has been exciting actually because I've been using like your tactics, Death by 1,000 Cuts, because I've been using a jump mech, and usually I do pick the mech, the like mech bay or whatever, the mech factory. I pick that one. A lot of fun to jump on the sides, jump on the different things. But I do recommend though everyone take target retention, because it was so hard to actually figure out where people are, and if you have that going on, you gotta rebuild your mechs for Solaris 7. You can't just like you gotta have dedicated mechs for this thing, because it's so hard.
Yeah,
yeah.
Target spotted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like for example, like I love my Black Lantern that I've built. I could probably take it in quick play, but the way I have it skilled out, it's mostly just for Solaris.
Yeah. So you have to actually modify it.
Which brings me to the ongoing idea that I always have. PGI, let us save our skill loadouts. Because if I want to take it into quick play, I could just say skills. And then I've named it as quick play skills. Then Solaris, drop down. I've named it as Solaris skill set. More reason to bring it in. And I mean, typically I joke when I say this, but seriously, if you are listening, that will save you so much time between having to bring mechs in and out and skill and reskill. I'm not good at programming, so I don't know how long it would take, but dear God, that would help us immensely.
Yeah,
exactly.
To kind of add on to this, I've been saying all the time, I'm not gonna build any mech specific for Solaris, except maybe one or two. If we had a change like that to save skill trees, potentially even loadouts, that would actually make me specialize into Solaris. Right now, it's just not worth the effort for me.
Yeah, because right now I'm building mechs only for Solaris because that's what I've been playing for the past half a week is just Solaris. So I want to be able to enjoy Solaris. So I've actually taken a few of the mechs that I really enjoy in quick play, and I've kind of reskilled them. And then I'm like, well, crap, I want to go back into quick play. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I have no consumables. Well, shit.
Yeah, I know that. I've been noticing that too. I have to make sure my mechs are built for quick play and then change them out. It's like, crap, I gotta change those crap out now. Like you said, man, a freaking saving button would be so good in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just begging for just 2 drop downs. Just 2. It doesn't need to be more than that. Just 1 for Solaris, 1 for quick play and faction play.
Exactly. Be nice.
Yeah. At the very least, particularly with the recent changes, the skills do not cost anything to re-equip. So it's not even and you can care, having to worry about having enough XP to reskill your thing is no longer a concern. As long as you've reached that point once before, you can click save, and then one way or another you'll be able to get back to that point again. Because it will cost nothing to get to re-equip all those notes and unequip any others you had. So, helping on the skill tree. My issue though is the skill tree is only part of the picture. Building a Solaris mech is not just the skills, but also the loadout, and that it's quite a lot of fiddling in both respects to honestly go from one to the other. So my skirmish, for example, I'm not running Excel in Solaris because some builds are very good at picking up a side torso, and that has actually helped me out quite a bit. So I'm not going the whole 112 or 15-ish kph. I'm going 100 kph with mask, and I've got medium pulse lasers rather than flamers, just to give me some backup lasers in case I run out of ammo, and I'm taking less ammo, etc., etc. And so if I'm going quick play, I have to do a huge retrofit of my mech, not just in skills but also with the build.
Yeah, it can be very time consuming, but anyway, guys, I know we're running late, but was there anything else you wanted to bring up tonight?
Yes, I actually have 2 more things.
Sure, go ahead.
Maybe the important one we should talk about first is kind of match balance. How did you feel where your match is balanced, both in terms of player skill as well as what mechs you went up against?
Player skill,
because I definitely know that player skill for me was okay balanced, I guess. But the mech fights were kind of garbage a lot of the time.
Yeah.
In higher level.
Okay. So I guess I'll just shoot is that I kind of agree with you on that. That for me, the players I was playing against, it was very I was saying it was half and half. It would basically be what time of day was it? Is that times in
Premium
the
time, yeah.
evenings? Yeah, times in the evenings, I pretty equally matched. Or times I would get, beaten, but it was close. If I go in like right after work, where it's like mid to late afternoon, I'm crushing people, and even I'm not the best 1v1 ever. But but I also agree on the point you made too, is that the mechs you're being put up against. I mean, there are times when I would take a light mech and I would be against an assault mech. Now, granted, people can take a light mech and they can run rampant on assault mech, but I'm not one of those kind of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a little hit and miss, I think, on the matchmaking for the mechs.
The issue always, even if you're a good light pilot going up against assaults, sometimes it can feel like chopping down a very large tree with an axe. That's a little
Yeah.
rude.
I thought it was funny. Like I was playing in the Division 5, and some guy, I guess, looked at my name, says, "That's not fair." I'm like, "No, man."
What? That's
yeah,
not.
yeah. It was so funny.
Well,
Like he typed in there, "That's not fair." I was like, "No, man." And he beat me though. He beat me. He was a good pilot, and I totally screwed up too. But it was just funny though, because you never know who. Yeah, because I'm a streamer. I'm good at 1v1. I'm not the best. I'm okay. I'm good. There, I guess. But it was just funny. Just his words. That's not fair.
When people see a streamer name, they automatically think you're good. That's not the
I mean, have you
case.
seen my streams? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, we can get killed, guys. We can get killed. It happens, and it can happen often if we're having a bad day.
Yeah, exactly. Or drunk stream like later on.
Yes.
But yeah, it was just a fun experience, and that was like my second game. My first game I lost, and I just like, yes, I lost, but I had so much fun. It was just so much fun. Like my first game I played, I didn't care if I lost. I don't care if I lose in Solaris 7. As long as I'm having fun, I don't give a crap. And it just fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to play this game, and I'm I'm impressed. They definitely hit the ball out of the park. I do think they should have did more marketing, but that's just another issue. That's just me.
Yeah, so balance is an interesting one, at least in terms of, like, for me, trying to picture the ideal scenario, or what I could really suggest for PGI to improve. The initial choices they've done here all make, for the most part, they at least make some sense. Though, as always, there's going to be winners and losers. And there's a lot of ways to slice this. A quick way to just demonstrate my point would be, perhaps imagine if you had all the mechs in one bucket. Obviously, there's a great amount of variety there. You could pick any mech you want, and you could go up against anything. It's really rolling the dice. Though, yeah, your maybe meta might develop such that the Annihilator with Dual Heavy Goose chops through almost every other mech, and it's really hard to beat that thing. So everyone just takes Annihilators with Dual Heavy Goose, and it gets really, really boring. Even if you had two buckets, one called good mechs and one called bad mechs, or Division 1 and 2, whatever, you may have a situation where the Piranha is put with good mechs, but all the other good mechs are so good, the poor Piranha just, falls to pieces and nobody really wants to take it. So you take the Piranha down into the bad mech division, and the Piranha eats everything. So, either it's at the bottom of the pile or the top of the heap, so to speak. There's huge issues, at least, with how mechs match up with one another, particularly when there's a very large list of possible options, because people are going to gravitate to certain options, typically the bigger mechs, since more firepower, more durability, etc. They're just better at the brawling and better at the shooting at range. If there was a large enough player base, like really large or whatever, then I imagine the best thing to do is to have more and more brackets, so you have less mechs per bracket. And that's kind of why I like Division 7, is you have a lot less mechs you're going up against, a much smaller range of things you're going to have to fight. And I like that more controlled environment. Whereas if you look at something like Division 2, that list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And poor mechs like the Timmy, they're good. Timberwolf can be, a decent build mech, but it's going up against a whole bunch of hardcore mechs and assault mechs and all that stuff. Like, I just, poor
Yeah,
people
it's
who have to
rough.
try and take a Timberwolf. Yeah, I think even Commander Lemming, who sadly is grabbing some groceries incessantly at the moment.
Exactly.
He made a video. It's like, oh, where's this guy got a lot of losses? Oh, I see why. And, he's a Timmy, a Timberwolf in Division 2. And so, that's in my mind at least, that's the piranha in my good mechs division that is at the bottom of the heap. But if you move if you move the Timmy down one division, it might if you move it down 2 or 3 divisions, it might be the top dog. And that's just the big huge problem with it.
So,
Yeah.
Finish up your sentence. I've got an idea I want to present.
Okay.
Yeah. My last thing, just though, I have one huge gripe with PGI, and I'm not sure why, but like the game designers must have had one, like the Vindicator 1R. Like, did the Vindicator 1R do something very bad to the game designers one night?
It's not a
they-
bad mech.
Yeah, it's not a bad mech, but they nerfed it with the skill tree / engine desync. Pretty bad. I talked about this before in previous podcasts. All the Vindicators are in Division 7, except for the Vindicator 1R,
Yeah.
which is in Division 4. For some reason, it's above all the Phoenix Hawks. All of them. All the Phoenix Hawks in one division, but the Vindicator 1R is just such a supremely brilliant mech. Somehow it's jumped up like 3 divisions. Why? That poor thing is way out of its league, or at least it seems. I just not. I don't feel like I really want to take it.
Yeah.
Okay, Ian.
So that one actually ties into the other thing I kind of want to mention. You guys noticed there's a match window. So different than quick play, you're not getting into a match as soon as Matchmaker found your match. You're actually waiting up to 60 seconds to drop all the matches at once, which I guess fits into the Solaris theme. But here's something you would actually do with that. Since you're basically having a queue and accumulating players, up like currently I'm looking at Division 1, there are about 11 to 15 people per match window. What you could do is implement an actual matchmaker, rather than just match 2 people given on what time they enter the queue. Implement a simple decision tree, for example, to say like, if you're in an Annihilator, your opponent is preferably gonna be in another Annihilator. If you're in Division 2 in a Nova, your opponent should probably not be that Atlas. So that one is like, this decision tree in programming is super simple to do. It would add a holder to the matchmaker. It will make the match window thing make sense. And in my opinion, like that should be a very easy way to improve balance quite a bit.
I will say, there is interest. Like, I have already, like, when there's a lot of players around, I will be put up against fairly good pilots, and the ELO system seems to be working as intended. The only issue is, of course, if I take a silly, stupid mech, the game, of course, won't notice that, and I'll be put up against really hardcore pilots, and I'll suffer as a consequence. Instead, I'll have to only use the very best that there ever was. I think an alternative idea I came up with would be, okay, sure, the Vindicator 1R or whatever is stuck in a really high division. The Timberwolf is stuck in Division 2, and it's a really hard mech to actually get to work. But instead of making people feel like, their favorite mech or whatever mechs they happen to own are stuck in a division they really are having troubles winning, if a mech is struggling in a division, other than just moving it up or down divisions, you can also offer boosted incentives for people to play it. So, Timberwolf is losing a lot in its division. If any Timberwolf player wins, they get 5 times the earnings. Because, they're taking an underdog mech, effectively. Whereas if you're taking a popular mech that's doing really well, you get half the winnings or something like that. So it encourages people to spread out and choose different mechs. And you can still take your favorite mech, and when you win, you'll get way bigger reward. I think that at least is an additional other way to also try and balance things out and make people feel better about their mech being stuck in a division that they're not too happy with.
Yeah, so basically what we can gather from this, I guess, is there are a lot of ideas to improve this.
Oh yeah.
And I guess if we were to look at the forums and Reddit, we will find even more ideas that are absolutely amazing. But I guess we can probably agree that right now balance is not in a perfect state.
Well, it never
No,
will be.
but-
And they did say that they're going to go
Well,
change
yeah.
it, based off of, mechs and all that kind of stuff and how they're performing. They'll probably change out the trees like next patch or something like that. So,
Hmm.
But
As I
they
said
are
in
going
my
a good direction.
as I said, in my ideal vision, it's like the more buckets, the better, because you have, much more of a smaller pool of mechs you're up against, and it can be much more easily balanced that way. However, there's a fundamental limitation with the player base, how many people are actually going to play, 50 divisions, and B, just the look of it of 50 divisions or something like that,
Mhm.
is of course going to be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
I want to play with my friend in Division 47, but we both don't have Division 47 mechs. Oh no. So yeah, there is a limit to how effective that can be. But in terms of just pure balance and fun, if you could just pick and play instantly any mech, more buckets is better. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
True.
So maybe one very last topic: new player experience and Solaris. What are your thoughts on that?
like,
But
what do you
someone
mean, like,
starting
you
the
play?
game up?
Yeah, someone starting the game and you go into Solaris for the first time, having played like 10 matches or so.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get my wife to do it. Basically, go and jump in. But the whole thing is, though, I don't think she'll have a lot of fun, though, to tell you the truth, on 1v1.
Yeah.
Just the UI itself. That? I mean, you will be. You're playing like, and you're playing your own like level type thing.
So like,
But the
which way is
UI
right? This way.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's her talking.
Yeah.
Just don't throw me in like the deep end and expect me. That's what you do to me every game. But bitch, I kick your ass.
All right, surprise guest.
Yes,
CatSmiles.
surprise guest, CatSmiles.
Well, I would.
There
I mean,
are- There are
I'd
some
say it just
funny
depends,
things
yeah.
to say with that, though. Is at least for a new player, if you're going into quick play, you're in Division 5, you're up
Yeah.
against people
Yeah.
with similar level of skill or newness to the game.
Mhm.
With Solaris, though, you might need to actually lose a whole bunch of ELO before you're matched with
Yeah.
people with your own level.
Mhm.
There's no Division 5 necessarily, at least until things flatten out a bit in terms
Yeah.
of.
Was
people
there like a
going away.
how-to, like, for this mode though? Like, I don't recall like a
Yes,
how-to.
you get an intro tutorial that's actually quite decent.
Okay, good, because
Yeah,
I
One
didn't actually
thing
watch
that's one thing you need to pay attention though, as a new player, the mechs recommended for each division are the trial mechs, and they're mostly kind of garbage, like
Yeah.
Night Star
Yep.
Division 1, Osiris
Yeah.
Division
it. Okay.
6. You don't want to play the trial mechs here.
Well, this is the thing also just with the new player experience is obviously you only have a couple of, you only have the trial mix to go into Solaris, which are all not going to be really up to snuff. Also, they're unskilled, which isn't up to snuff. Also, even if you have saved up the C bills, bought a mech, it might not be a good Solaris mech. And this is a problem for even players who don't have that many mechs. The less mechs you have, the less likely you're going to be able to find that sweet spot where you're actually having fun on Solaris.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
plenty of us here on the podcast have a whole bunch of mechs. So for me, I have a huge menagerie of things to choose from. If my Vindicator 1R isn't up to snuff, I can just choose a
True,
Skokomish
true.
instead. But not everyone has a Skokomish.
I mean, overall, I think that my wife will enjoy it once she starts playing and everything. So, like, I think she'll definitely enjoy that kind of stuff. So it's good for the new player experience as well. Because she'll be fighting against people that are her own level. Granted, she has to use trial mechs probably until she gets more stuff in there, but still, she'll probably have a lot, like a good time. And like you said, she'll lose before she wins, so that's fine. Good thing.
And,
I'm gonna be interested to hear a story in the future.
Oh,
We'll
well,
have
like
to-
actually, like someone said, old Bob's wife would play Burial's wife, so I think that might be.
Yeah,
really,
interesting.
Yes.
There's now a challenge throwdown.
Yeah, it's a throwdown.
Wow.
Exactly.
I
so-
imagine, though, for any new players, it feels a lot more safe going into a large team environment than 1v1s.
Mhm.
Also, the payouts aren't that great, and it'll take you forever to earn new mechs. Like, it's not a great introduction to the game, whereas, at least
Yeah.
with quick play, that's a question, actually. Do you get cadet bonus from Solaris?
No idea.
No idea. But I would say overall, quick play will still be the better new player intro.
Definitely.
Yeah.
first
yeah.
player experience.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So, hey, Larsh.
All right, cool. So, anyway, I think we've gone over a lot tonight, guys. I mean, we ran for about an hour and a half, so about a half an hour over than average. So, anyway, guys, for those who are watching, thank you once again for tuning in to the First Air Podcast number 36. As always, you can catch all of us here, Biter, maybe a little half and half, on Twitch and on YouTube and Twitter. And as always, our links are down in the description down below. Until then, everyone, see you next week.
And feel free to stick around right now.
BattleTech next week.
BattleTech next week.
Yes,
BattleTech next week.
I don't know. Oh, yeah. And also,
BattleTechGame.com.
yes,
BattleTech Go Time.
BattleTechGame.com. BattleTechGame.com.
See you guys later.
Bye bye.